Hey K through 5th teachers, how are you? Hope you're having a great week. Let's follow along here. We'll get you ready for Sunday, okay? You have your lesson attached in your email, so follow here on page 1. We'll start with our ranger game, which is our human nut, and then going into, and the instructions are on there, so go over that. And then going into page 2, our memory verse. That'll go along with our video lesson, which includes the memory verse song, the rules, and the Bible, the video lesson. And then after that, you'll start right in on our gospel lesson, which is God's word is living, which is taken from Hebrews, and it's sharper than a double-edged sword. So it's all in there. Definitely go through and read it. There's some great, like, tangible analogies in here and things that I hope will connect the dots for our kids. And then going on into through page 5 and into page 6, again, we have our Be a Follower of Jesus page. Go ahead and really take the time to look over this. Again, if you are prepped on this, this will not take you long. The kids are learning this, and it may sound like a broken record over time, but that is okay because we can always revamp this later to make it new and fresh, but we want it to feel really solid in those kids' heads so that they could almost do it themselves. That's the goal, right? To get these truths in their heart so that not only are these truths for them, but for them to share with their own friends and family. Okay, so on page 6, we have, of course, just those bullet points of what we want them to know, the verses to go along with them, and lead them in the prayer. Don't shy away from that prayer. Pray that prayer boldly, even though you feel like maybe most of these kids have prayed the prayer. You may feel that way, but that's not what we want you to do. We want you to really pray this boldly because there's kids in there who maybe think they have prayed that or maybe have made that commitment, but actually haven't yet. So we want that, and for you to invite them to talk to you afterwards or to a teacher, okay? And then to give them some tangible ways of what to do after they do that prayer, or they already have prayed the prayer, to grow, GROW, okay? And the acronym is spelled out there for you. Please just take the time. Again, if you're prepared on it, it's going to take you 2 minutes to go through it. So, okay. So, and then we have our object lesson, which is really why I want you to watch this, because the object lesson involves a knife. So be careful. And on that note, I will have this wrapped in this baggie. And I probably will do like a dish towel if I can, or at least some kind of towel. So make sure this is like, you guys just don't leave it around. I mean, like, do I need to state the obvious? But, you know, be safe. And for the person doing an 11 o'clock service, will you make sure that that bag and this cutting board that you're going to be given, a cutting board, gets in the hands of Whitney herself, okay? And for our 11:45 service, make sure it gets to the coordinator. Also, he will put it underneath the check-in desk and make sure it's just in a safe spot. I just don't want it roaming around that room for kids to find, obviously. Okay, let's be safe. So we have our apple, we have our knife, and you have a cutting board. What are you going to do? So if you cut an apple a certain way, I don't know if you've done this before, maybe this object lesson, but you cut it this direction, down the side here, you will be able to see a star shape on the inside. I've never done this, so we're going to do it together so I can demonstrate for you, okay? I'm going to cut it. I'm cutting it on its side. Again, don't cut it straight up and down like you would normally, but on its side, straight in the middle. Let's see what we find inside here. Okay, I have opened it. And it is like a star on the inside. You see that shape in there. That's like a really cool thing. God's beauty in there that we didn't know existed. So, and of course the connection point is that God hid something really special inside the design of this apple, but we had to cut open the apple to reveal what was inside, right? Just how God has to cut through the heart. God's word is living and it cuts to the heart, okay? And that'll be our object lesson for the week. So very simple, just one cut through. Most important thing, like I say, that makes me nervous is just making sure the knife is put away. All right, gang. And then that's it. We're going into our question and answer time in our small groups, and then our prayer time. Don't be afraid to ask kids to pray out loud for those things that are listed. I had some kids at Grand this past week after teaching that I had never heard pray out loud before. I didn't even know that they would be comfortable doing that. and they raised their hand, they volunteered to do it, and that was such a big deal. So I really feel like God is moving in those hearts. So anyway, thank you for serving. Thank you for loving on these kids, and I hope you have a great weekend. Okay, bye.